Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first, yes, the first ever Armchair Football live show. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Like we feel so nervous and scared and proud and thankful for you guys to come all along with this weird journey today. So the three of us are the Armchair. Basically two journalists, one former journalist who happens to love football, love talking about football. Yeah, and we hope to kind of get you guys to join in with our discussion. All right. Before we go any further, let me introduce the two men who are joining me on the armchair today. First of all, a star reporter in more ways than one, right? So he's a sports reporter for Malaysia's The Star, so get it, star reporter. And also, he's a star in all our eyes, right? Where he routinely breaks the latest Super League transfer deadline bombs and all this kind of thing. A lifelong a lifelong Arsenal fan. Welcome, Avinesh.
I'm no star. I'm just the normal one. Let me put it on record here.
See, he's so humble. Next,
Ipo,
next.
bro. We come from
Okay,
Ipo. You're always like that.
all right. Next, joining me is another journalist, this time from the Malay Mail. All right, so he's covered various national, international events. So those include Sukma, those includes the Sea Games, Sultan Azlan Shah Cup, hockey, not football, but still. And the difference between him and other journalists is that he's actually played the game. Okay, so he's a former semi-pro player. He's involved in grassroots football for like over 20 years. We think he's the midfielder that Man United need. Okay. So welcome, Benny.
Yeah, hi. Um, it's good to be here, bro.
Okay. Very, very, very short introduction to him. Okay, no problem. So a bit about me.
I'm just humble guy, bro. I'm not star like Avi. So
Okay, all right.
I'm no star. Like I said, I'm the normal one.
Normal one. Okay.
Normal one.
A bit about me is I used to be a reporter as well. Now I'm not. I've been following English and European football for a very long time, but this is honestly my first season watching Malaysian football. So I'm a complete noob in that sense. Please forgive me if I make any mistakes or sound like a bigger idiot than I usually am, because I've really never followed Malaysian football. So I'm just going to be asking these guys questions most of the time. All right, but we thought this would be a bit more interesting because you've got the perspective of an expert, someone who reports on it. You got someone who actually played the game, and you've got someone who knows nothing about the game. At least in Malaysia, lah. All right. So if there's anyone who is like me, first time watching Malaysian football, you're not alone, lah. Okay. On that note, to anyone who's watching, if you have any questions, you have any comments, just leave them in the comment section of the YouTube video or the Twitter video. We hope you can see it. I think so. All right. And before we get started, I'm going to pass it along to Avi to tell us what you guys are going to be able to get from this show.
Okay, the answer is a place for the fans. So if you have any questions related to Malaysian football, European football, Asian football, Southeast Asian football, you can always post those questions and we'll try our best to answer, including Logan. Logan may say that he's a first-time viewer of Malaysian football, but he has been following Sabah for quite a while, and
yeah,
recently he watched all the highlights of the Malaysian Super League game. So the amount of dedication he has put in to understand the game here should be lauded. So
yeah.
it's not like he does not know anything; he knows something, so he can ask us. Okay, yeah. And we will also be reviewing matches, and then we'll be speaking to professionals, coaches, CEOs, people who are part of grassroots football, social football. We're going to get as many guests as possible during the course of this live stream show. Basically, we want to entertain you all, but at the same time, the notion that we all have is to inform. We just don't want to do a show just to simply talk or whatsoever. Whatever that we talk, people must be able to grasp it, and understand it. So we hope to break some stories through this live stream show. And today I hope to break some transfer rumors for you. Many have been asking why you have been going idle on Twitter. So today I might be sharing some news. I mean, it's not full-fledged transfer news, but hints of who might be going to this club and so on. Lah. So yeah, looking forward to be part of the show. Logan was the path breaker. He gave the idea, the impetus. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to be part of the show. Talking with you all. I mean, uh, can't wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
In other
I'm
words,
still feeling nervous.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. In other words, I just tumpang glamour lah. So that's no. We wanted to give
மானாட
it.
தும்பம் வேமலா ஐயோ
Oh, Tumpan Grammar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
ஆ
Speaking of glamour and social and all this getting famous and all, we would love to remind you once again. Please follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, IG, YouTube. Uh, the address may be different, but it's basically if you search the Armchair Malaysia, you'll be able to find it lah. Okay. So yeah, once again, please follow us and leave any comments, feedback. If you feel the host is useless, please let him know. No problem. I think you're right. So okay.
Sorry.
So let's jump straight into the first segment. The first thing we're going to discuss today is the new coach for Harimau Malaya. All right. So the new coach's name is of course Kim Pan Gon. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. A bit of background about him. He was the KFA's vice president. He was also the national team. Correct? Am I okay? Yeah. Okay. He holds the AFC Professional Football Coaching Diploma, which is the highest coaching qualification in Asia. And he's coached in Hong Kong, he's coached in Korea. He also brought the Portuguese national coach, Paulo Bento, into the Korean fold, right? So, I mean, this man's got a pretty good resume. Avi, can you tell us a bit about new coach? What are his strengths and why he was brought in, really?
Okay, before I go to his strengths, I'll mention the questions that were asked by fans and also by the media as well. Uh, Before the announcement was made, before the news was revealed, we got few names that were listed, and Pangon was one of them. Lah. So when we looked up at his CV, we realized that he has not coached for the last 4 years. So there were questions over whether he's able to take over an international team again and be able to implement the philosophies that he believes. Because in the last 4 years, the game has changed so much. So there were question marks over that. But when I spoke to Dato Hamidin 2 weeks ago, he did mention that the reason why they hired Pangan was because of his networking ability, being able to get resources from whether it's Malaysia or in any other Asian countries when it comes to data and high performance. So that caught their attention, and also at the same time his knowledge of Malaysian football, they were quite impressed. So he was able to name some names of the players who played in the AFF Suzuki Cup and also those who played in the qualifiers. So they were impressed with that lah, that he did his study and so on. So those are his strengths, like being able to convince people that I'm able to nurture these boys to do something good. But at the same time, there will be question marks, no doubts about it. But we also have to tell ourselves that he hasn't joined the team yet, so we have to give it some time, see what he does. But for me, the strength would be his networking abilities. I would love to see what he does with that, with the national team.
All right. Benny, what are you hoping to see from the national coach? Like, what does he really need to focus on when he first comes in?
Okay, bro. I think the coach right now has to identify the right players for the system that he's bringing in, because we know that he's a foreign coach, right? So probably have a different system compared to our local coaches, compared to the way they play in the local league. So you need to identify the players that suits his kind of system. So I think it's going to be tough for him because I'm not sure whether he's familiar with the Malaysian league or not. But I think he has to do the job. So also, I believe that they have to set a proper target, like a solid target. Um, I think the next they're going to play for the third round Asia Cup, right?
Mm.
Uh, okay, I'm not going to say that they have to focus on winning and everything, but I think they have to be more realistic on the result they're looking for. We need to, I think, probably need time to blend with the team, So that's it. And then yeah,
All right. Avi, same question, kind of, but I mean, slightly different angle, lah, because when a coach comes in, he's going to have very different challenges depending on the team, depending on the circumstances, depending on the time he comes in, where the team is at the moment. So, what do you think are the challenges he really needs to focus on?
When he comes to Malaysia, he will be watching the Charity Shield and also the first match week. First, I think the first two match weeks of the Super League and Premier League, and then he will decide on his squad for the qualifiers. And before the qualifiers, they will be playing some friendly games. So that is one thing that he needs to deal with, and see. I would love to see how he does that scouting system, what
Mm,
kind of player attracts him, and so on during the call up. But the most important thing is he needs to understand the Malaysian football ecosystem, top to bottom, not just
right.
at a high level. He needs to
Mm,
communicate with everyone.
yeah,
Because if you come and say that, I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way without even consulting with others, then I'm sorry, things are not going to work at all. So that is one thing that he really needs to focus on. And and like I mentioned just now, I want to see his data and high performance expertise because he's bringing along an analyst with him. So I want to see how do they do their data and high performance. And Benny mentioned that style of play and all that. When you play, I mean, international football. I mean, I'm not a professional player, but based on my impression of the game, international football is not consistent. The DNA of football it changes all the time. When you play with a different side, you play a different formation, you play a different tactic. So I would love to see that part of him also. We can't just maintain one style of play to get things out. Even
mm,
yeah,
Vietnam also, they play defensive and then they can play good attacking football also. So they see which kind of opponent they are playing. That
right.
is one example I can give you. So he needs to understand the dynamics of our players also. Because Malaysian footballers, we have myriads of characters, not
Mm,
just one single character. It's not like how it's in Asia, in South Korea or Japan. Because we know in Japan and South Korea, the players are highly disciplined.
right.
But here, it's totally different. You have different kinds of characters. So for me, he needs to understand how these players work. He needs to blend them. He needs to understand the dynamics of each of these players. When that happens, then yes, we can see results. As for my expectations, yes, obviously the dream is we want to go to the Asia Cup. But realistically, can we do that? I have doubts, obviously. So
Mm,
for me, when he comes in, number one, yeah, people will look at the results. But for me, as long as the players give their all, their 100% of the pitch during these games, I'm happy because there is progress. So from that progress, how do you build on it?
mm.
So those are some of the things that he needs to look at, lah. Ji.
I mean, you mentioned giving 100%. A lot of that is like, that the dressing room kind of feel, and
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
whether you really buy into what he's selling, lah, so to
Mm.
speak.
Because
Uh,
you have different kinds of players of different kinds of players. You have the JDTs, you have the Tengranus, you have the
mm,
Kedas. So how do you blend them to play for the team? Because in the previous post-mortem they mentioned about harmony. For me,
mm,
that was something that needed to be addressed. So I hope the
yeah,
current call-up, something of that sort will not happen. So
mm.
that's how I see it, lah.
I mean, Benny, like the morale is such a big, important part of a football team. I mean, you are probably the only one among us who has been in like a dressing room kind of thing when a new coach comes in. Although you try to put down very humbly your football career, it's still something better than either of us, lah. Sorry to speak for Avi, but yeah. So when a new coach comes in, how does it feel like for a player? Are they going to be nervous? Are they going to be tense? What do you think?
okay, definitely they will feel tense and nervous, bro, because they are facing a new phase there. So, and then obviously they will try to adapt to his system, which is a bit, I think, would be a problem for all the players because when a new coach came in, he'll bring his thoughts and everything. So it will be totally a new dimension for them. So they will try to adapt it. So it definitely they will feel tense. And then also, I think that the communication is the important key here because I'm not sure whether obviously you can't speak Malay, right? So it's going to
Avi,
Pangan
boleh?
he can speak English. He
yeah,
can speak English, so that's not an issue. That's why they hide him also.
All right.
Uh,
yeah.
Actually,
Hopefully,
I just want to add one point here. Before
yeah,
uh, before they zeroed in on Pangwan, uh, this one I got from my sources lah. We were close to signing Vietnam's coach Park Hang-seo.
Oh,
We were close to signing him, but they decided that he decided to stay on with Vietnam eventually lah. But he was really keen on coaching Malaysia. The things that he mentioned, our sizing, the way we play football, and the league structure, he was very impressed. So he wanted to be part of that system, but somehow things didn't work out lah. So we instead got Pangon, and he's now still with Vietnam.
Mhm. Okay. So, Benny, you want to finish off your point?
Sorry, Benny. Sorry.
okay, no problem. Okay, so probably, I mean, they will definitely finish this because everyone will fight for the first 11. So they will actually try to please him lah. So every player will do that. So and then so that's the thing lah. They have to be. There will be lot of pressures there lah for players.
Right.
Each one will try to give their best. So definitely they're going to be tense and nervous. Yeah.
I mean, Avi just now mentioned, the expectations, and the coming results that he needs to get. It's quite interesting because these were some of the questions that some of our fellow fans asked lah on Avi's Twitter. So I'm just going to put them up on the screen here if I can. Yeah. So first off, Amin asked us, is the third round of the, can I say ACQ? Can lah? Okay, very long lah. Okay. Is it an extended pre-season for him? And in a similar vein, Hamra asked, are the Asian Cup qualifiers realistic or a fairy tale based on the post-mortem study? Avi, maybe you can tell us a bit more about this post-mortem study and, answer the question lah. Do you think it's realistic?
So after the AFF Suzuki Cup debacle, we formed an independent committee to study why the team didn't do too well. So they revealed 10 findings and 10 recommendations lah. So like I mentioned just now, the harmony and then the lack of high performance details, and then also the poor communication. I mean, apparently there was poor communication between management and coaches and all that. So those were some of the things that were mentioned lah. And after that, those things were revealed. For me, I felt like we already knew what happened. So to say it again, like it was a bit redundant, but they had to do their job lah. Okay, so if you are the first, should I answer the first question or the second question?
Up to you, bro. No problem. No anything.
Okay. I saw the first question mentioning that is it like a pre-season for the 2026 qualifiers. Number one, when you play in any qualification match, you cannot take it as a pre-season game. No. Pre-season game is all about testing new players, coming up with new formations. You can't do that in a qualification match. If you do that, you're going to get not to say demolished, we might get crushed because you're testing new things. So like I said just now, these kind of matches follow what the coach says. Let the coach put in what he believes in and then perform 100%. But at the same time, coach needs to know the dynamics of each player, how this player is going to perform in his tactics, what kind of variation they can give, and so on. So take this game seriously. But realistically, can we qualify for Asian Cup 2023? Is a bit of a big ask if you ask me. For me, right now we are starting from bottom again. After what happened in AFF, a lot of things needs to be seen. A lot of things need to be discussed. At the moment, we are seeing a lot of prominent people in our game talking about issues and all that. But I think we should all just sit down and see what can be done to further improve this team. Because at the end of the day, they are our team. Armchair Malaysia is our team. So we want the best for them.
Okay. And the next question, well, I love this username. Bangsa Negaraku and also Naif Mansoor. So they were asking the question, around the same thing, so I condensed it a bit. So apa ciri-ciri or kriteria pemain yang akan dipilih? So Avi, what do you think? Both of you please weigh in. What do you think?
I'll answer it in Malay lah. Kalau you tanya saya, soalan tu kena tanya kat coach lah. Coach belum sampai lagi.
Diorang ingat coach akan datang.
Saya bukan coach. Tapi jikalau ingin memilih pemain tersebut kena ada minit yang lebih, kena memberikan prestasi yang amat baik dalam Liga Super. Jangan select players based on name. Kena tengok mereka punya form. And one more thing saya nak stress upon is diversity. I don't know whether people would agree with me or not, but I want to see a mixture of players. Sebab I'll be frank here lah, ada sesetengah pemain budak India yang tanya ke I apa yang saya perlu buat untuk masuk dalam national team. Not just one, but many players, not just the Indian boys. The boys in Sabah, the Chinese lads, they've asked all these questions. So I do not know how to answer them. So I hope there will be some sort of diversity, but merit should be the main point when selecting players.
Yeah, yeah.
Benny?
Yeah, I agree with Avi, definitely. Because as we, the problem with our Malaysian national team is that we don't have diversity.
Hmm.
Every time we see there's no mixture. So I think, as I agree with Avi, we should focus on merit and diversity. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a strong call, guys. I mean, I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a good note to end on the first segment. So, hey, before you
Hey,
know
we're
it,
done with the first segment.
yeah, hey, it's already 20 minutes. You see, I told you it's going to take a long. You see, just a bit of behind the scenes. Diorang cakap this one will be like 45 minutes. I was like, no way, this is going to be 45 minutes. So, to the few people who are still listening, I'm sorry. I hope you've had your dinner. Tapi, yeah, it's gonna go for a while. Okay. No, because right. So we're on to the second segment. This is where Avi has made his millions lah. Okay, in breaking breaking transfer
Yeah.
rumors. Our own Fabrizio Romano yang kita semua tumpang glamour, we're just trying to be like him in life lah. So we're going to talk about his forte here. The Malaysian transfer window started on December 1st. There have been a lot of big signings. So Avi, I'm just going to pass it to you. I mean, what are your highlights of the transfer window so far in Malaysia?
There are lots of it actually. First up, let us talk about Johor Darul Takzim lah. So they have made one marquee signing in the name of Fernando Forestieri. He played for clubs like Sheffield Wednesday, Watford. Remember the Watford game where they played in the playoffs against Leicester? The last minute goal?
That game, my God.
He was instrumental in getting that goal.
Right.
So he was popular there as well. And then his last club was Udinese, Syria club. So pretty decent signing. Someone who the coach and also the crown prince has said that would be able to help Bergson to get more goals, like a partner sort of thing. And then to further improve competition among the foreign players, they've also signed two Filipino internationals. Two Filipino internationals and a Malian Spanish winger, Mamadou Sidibe and Musa Sidibe, Khalid Amaga from Philippines, and also Bienvenido Maranon. He's a naturalized Philippine striker to give more competition to the squad. So they have made signings that they believe would further elevate the team's level of play. That is the understanding behind the signings that they have made. One team, and then the other team that really caught my interest was Selangor, because they signed two Jordanian internationals. I have watched Baha and Yazan train. They are quality. They look very good. So I hope that form, that experience, that international experience will be brought to the Malaysian Super League and help elevate Selangor to do better. Because last season they finished fifth. So this season, Selangor fans, the expectations are very high. So obviously they want things to be better. So I am very sure the club would be targeting top three finish lah. So like Baha Abdul Rahman, Yazan Al Arab, and also the two Brazilians that they have signed, Felison Cayon and Huri Henrique are good players. And Felison, people have questioned his record in Thailand, but when I was watching him train, he looked quite a decent player. But sometimes what you see in training may not happen on the field. But I have the belief that it can happen in Selangor because the coach is very sound. His instructions are very clear, and the players that he signed fit his system of play. So we'll see how that goes for Selangor lah. What else? Malacca, they announced their signings a little late, but they've made some pretty interesting buys. One example is Ifedaya Olusegun. Last season, Super League top scorer, now playing for Malacca. And to get more goals, he's got three players going to help him out. Sonny Lotte, Adriano Nazizo, and also Emmanuel Oti. And I was told that uh, Malaysian international Nur Sharul Idlan Talaha could be joining them. So he could play in first 11 or he could be a super sub. Like this now, Logan and I had an earlier conversation. We might even see the yo-yo combination, Ifadayo and Madio.
I thought that was one of the worst jokes I've ever made, but since he's brought that up,
Sorry, I had to say
but
so
no, hold on, because the thing is that you have announced an exclusive and you didn't give me the prompt, so I didn't put that thingy at the bottom.
yeah,
That's
it's
that's an
okay.
exclusive. That is the first exclusive of the show. So that Matyo may be joining Malacca.
And
Ah,
then, oh, somebody actually just said Matthew has joined Laco already. So
Yeah.
I guess the club has already confirmed it, lah.
hey, there you go.
So looks like it's confirmed, lah. And then,
Yeah, is it okay if I put the chat overlay
yeah,
here?
yeah,
Because I
sure,
feel
no
that we are
problem.
not getting any. Yeah, we're not talking to the people enough, lah. Our apologies on that. Yeah, let me just put Mr. Azri up. Yeah, so it's
Mm.
confirmed. Yeah, he has joined Malacca. That's fantastic news. Why not?
That's really good news for him, lah. He being
Hmm.
able to, I mean, he's able to get a club, lah. He's
Yeah.
36, but he still believes that he can give his all. So it's good that he can play in the Super League platform again, lah, after
Hmm.
a while. And then, what else? Benny, you have any other teams that you want me to mention?
Um, no, bro. Perak maybe.
Yes. I think
Pera later. Let me just focus on Super League first. Lah. Sadly, Pera is in the Premier League.
okay. Let Avi gather his thoughts. But Benny, what's your summation of the transfer league? So I mean the transfer window so far for the Super League.
For me, bro, as usual, I think JT has dominated the transfer window.
Mm.
They have added more strength to their team. I mean, we know they have a quality players and everything, but they keep on signing in every season, signing new players in every season. So I think there's not much different in this transfer window as well. They have made a lot of good signings, and based on the signings, I think JDT has the most best deal for this
So
transfer window.
so
To
they're the
add
team
to
to beat.
Benny's point, lah, I mean, JDT are obviously the favourites lah, to go for their ninth Super League title. But based on what I've seen so far, the signings teams have made, I think these teams will be able to give them a tight competition. Uh, Terengganu, for example, they have kept the core local players. And
Yeah,
one of them is Faisal Ali. Remember, you watched the highlights, he did the shoe
yeah.
celebration.
Yes,
He's
yes.
still there. He's still there. And the foreign signings that they've made, Manuel Ott, who played for Malacca last season, he was sensational. I thought he was brilliant in midfield. He's going to play for Terengganu. Kepa Sherman, he every season regularly scores goals for fun out of Terengganu. Cheche Kipre, Benny knows him very well. Amazing striker. Even though he's going to turn 35 this year, but I still have the belief that he'll be able to give his all, score goals, create chances. Is that kind of a player. And also, they've signed a Senegalese defender who is 1.93 meters tall, Pape Diakite, if I'm not mistaken. So they have also added players that could help could help them in the Super League next season. Lah. And also, they brought in Adib Zainuddin, former Harimau Muda captain. So, they've added depth. Instead of just chopping and changing, they've added depth. Kedah, on the other hand, it's been an interesting transfer season for them, lah, because they lost Rizal Ghazali, Badul Bakhtiar to Logan's State Sabah.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, don't worry. So, but they have signed players that Coach Ideal told me these players are team players. They will, you know, give certain sort of stability and solidity in every position. So you don't have flamboyance, but you have that efficiency. So he's looking for that element. So when he told me that, I was very impressed because there were some questions, why they signed these players and all that. But when he gave that explanation, I was like, okay, this coach knows what he wants to do. So they have signed South Korean center back Jang Sok Boon. They have signed Honduran international Mark Valles, who can play as a defender or a defensive midfielder. And this player has played against top European players. He has played against Mbappe, the English national team. So he has, high level experience. And not to forget Dechi Marcel Anguesan. He played for Terengganu last season. He played for Terengganu 1 and Terengganu 2. He is the N'Golo Kante of Malaysia.
Oh, that's a big shout. Wow.
Yes, he works his socks off. technically very good. He's not just doing the dirty work, but his passing is also immaculate. So I'm looking forward to see him play for a top side lah in the Super League for in a regular manner. And then who else they sign? And then they sign Ronald Nga and Dennis Bustining. Dennis Bustining, many questioned that he didn't play well for UiTM and so on, but so far I watched the friendlies. His stats are looking good. And Ronald Nga is signed because Kedah is going to play in the AFC Cup. So he has experience playing the AFC Cup and he was the Jordanian League top scorer. So they have quality. Even though they lost some of their core players, but they still have the quality to fight against these top teams. Lah. Who else I've missed out? What are the teams?
But before that, I mean, if you don't mind,
Hmm.
Mr. Azri has asked a question. Do you think Kedah will go far in the AFC Cup?
I think they can. I think they can because Coach Aidil is an experienced coach. He has brought Home United, now known as Lion City Sailors, to the final of the ASEAN leg. So he knows what needs to be done, and I have a feeling that they could do well. They look, and not to forget Shafiq Ahmad. I think he's going to get regular minutes with them, even though he's on loan. But I think he's going to be a very important player for Kedah. Could be the key man with goals, assists, work rate, and everything. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That one player can elevate any team in Malaysia, any team. Shafiq Ahmad. When last year he didn't get regular playing time with JDT, but when he played for the national team, my God, even Benny would agree with me, lah.
Yeah.
He's everywhere attacking. He is only 1.74 meters, but his heading is so good. His work rate is amazing. He pushes his teammates with his movement and everything. So I think this season could be Shafiq Ahmad's season also.
I'm before we, if you don't mind, before we get to my team, as you so nicely put it, my team. We have a very simple question just from Subhash,
Mm.
who just shouted Pera. So okay, it's time for Pera. Any news on what the Silver State is going to do in the next few?
They are looking to sign several experienced players.
Hmm.
So some of the names that have been mentioned are Indra Putra Mayudin. He played for KL last season and he's 41 years old this year.
Okay.
Experienced winger, but still has it. And also one Zach, one Aikal, former Harimumuda player and also played for the national team. He can play left and right. Indra can play striker, left and right also. So these two names are being linked to Pera and also Ahmad Shami Meria. But Pera cannot announce the names yet because they're trying to settle some of their areas that they had last year. So once that is settled, then the transfer ban will be lifted. Then they would be able to announce the play. So far, I have not received any updates on that yet. So maybe in a week or two, we will see the team announcing new players and so on. I know a lot of people have asked me why Pera has been very quiet. Is because they have to go through these administrative issues
Hmm.
and all that. I mean, there's been lots of talks about the logo and so on. But I mean, it's a first step, lah. I mean, the management has their ideas. Let's see how they project them, how the team goes, and all that. For now, I'm not going to be negative. I just want to see how they do in the next 6 to 7 months.
All right. So yeah, I think I've teased it enough. Okay. My biases aside, lah. My obvious
Mm,
biases aside.
mm, 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 mm.
As a complete newcomer, noob coming into following the MSL. Can we say the MSL? I'm sorry. Again, I'm very scared of saying the wrong thing.
Malaysia Super League G.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. The Super
Just
League.
say
All right.
Super League G.
Okay, Super League. All
Ah,
right.
Yeah.
easy.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, as someone who's really coming in like a newcomer to the Super League, right? Sabah signings are kind of like interesting to me
Okay.
because they've signed a lot of big names that kind of transcend the hardcore fans and the casual, even like casual fans like me know a lot of the names that they've signed.
Mm, mm,
I mean,
mm.
like obviously Karel Fami, you got Gary Steven Robert, you've got I mean Gary Steven Robert, who is exactly who has been compared many times to Benny. Looks alone. Doesn't seem okay. Benny seems to be either frozen or very unhappy with that. Okay, never mind.
He just don't want. He just doesn't want to show any kind of emotions or whatsoever.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
he finally said something.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I have no comments on this.
Thanks, Mr. Azri. I'm still learning. Thank you, sir. Okay. No, but they've also got Badrul Bakhtia, and I mean, these are like seriously talented players. Where do you think the ceiling is for the Sabah side?
Okay, if you ask me, first season with they have made a lot of, not to say changes, but they've brought in a lot of experienced players and so on. I think top six would be good for them.
Mm.
Top six is a realistic target with the teams that they've had. So, like you mentioned, the names like Batul Bhatia, Karul Fahmi Chema, Rizal Ghazali, Irfan Fazail, and few other players. These are players that have worked with Kimchi before in the SEA Games and also in the qualifiers and all that. Fun fact: these players actually told Kimchi when he was coaching Harimau Muda that if you take over a club, I want to play for you. So when he took over Sabah, obviously he would have thought of these names immediately, lah. Like, they want to play for me and so on. And he called them and he joined them. Like, for example, Rizal Ghazali and Batul Bhatia, I was shocked. I thought they were going to stay in Kedah for a long time. But they decided to move. When I asked, but why? Kim Sui. Simple answer. Kim Sui. That's it. So the Kim Sui factor is very strong in Sabah. And obviously expectations are very high, but I believe that they can finish top six. Lah. But the ones that have really impressed me in terms of signings are the foreigners. Jackson Souza and Neto Pessoa, these two players, they played in Brazilian Serie A and Serie B, top level leagues, really good clubs. And I watched some of their videos, they look really impressive. And Kimchi knew what he wanted from them. He said that, I want this place to fit my style of play. And he got the place that he wanted. Another interesting player is Taiki Kagayama. He played in Kansai University and then he moved to Finland. Started his professional career in Finland. Played for three clubs there. His last club, Inter Turku, he played in the Europa League. So he has high level exposure. So for him to move from another nation, from a European nation to an Asian nation, I think it's a very bold step for him. And look, and he would have bought into Kim Sui's ideals and also the club's vision and mission. So I think Sabah will be the silent killers this season. Never know. I just hope that they will do well, and I sincerely hope that Coach Kimsey will do well.
Mm.
Because he has been with Harry Maguire for a long time, and I have a very good relationship with him. Really nice man. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how they fare, and I believe they can finish. Like I said, I don't know how many times I said this, top six lah.
Top six. Okay.
Mm.
I mean, I'm glad to hear that. Another question that's just come in from Michael Juvan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. How far will KL City go? Top three.
Top three is a huge ask actually. I believe they can finish top six as well, but depends on the signing that they're going to make. Lah. I was told that they today gave an indication that they're going to sign a new foreign striker. I was told that he's 28 years old. His first name is Kevin. He's 1.92 centimeters tall. He can also play as a winger. So I want to see who this guy is, and then we can decide, how the team can perform. But the good thing about KL is they've kept the core. They've kept the core of the squad, and I'm happy with the fact that the management has kept these players happy and motivated. So they would surely want to win at least a trophy this season or finish top six in the Super League. If they're able to do so, I would say still a successful season because KL is a side with a very small budget,
Mm.
but the passion for the game, their understanding for the city, and also the foreigners being able to gel with the local players. I think it is that recipe has been a success so far, lah. And we saw how they performed in the Malaysia Cup last year. I mean, yes, JDT dominated the game, but when it comes to the moments where you need to, the key moments, they took their chance.
Mm.
So that should happen again this season. And Boyan Hodak is a very stable coach. So yeah, I mean they can finish top six. Top three would be really tough, but if they do so, amazing, amazing.
So okay, so it's Kevin. What else? What is his
Uh,
height again?
Kevin,
Ah,
1.92 meters. He can play as a striker or a winger.
ah.
And what else? I think that's it. Lah. 28 years old.
So okay, so my prediction is it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne. So I mean, I think that would be no.
Kevin De
How
Bruyne is 31, sir.
okay,
And he's not
only
1.92.
I don't. How would I know how tall is Kevin De Bruyne? Okay,
But
my
if we
prediction.
get Kevin De Bruyne, my God, Nation League is something else. Forget about other leagues, lah. Just watch
Exactly.
Malaysian
Look,
League
why
only.
not? He's
Mm.
won enough at Man City. It's another city. Can lah, makes sense. Okay, so that ridiculous prediction brings me very neatly to the next segment lah. Okay,
Mm.
because of course it's not only Malaysia that's going through our transfer window. I think the English transfer window just finished a few hours ago. I think Europe is still going on, right? They can still
I think 1 or 2 more days
one
left,
or two
and
more
they have
days,
to
right?
sign some kind of form to extend the deals a little. Even in England, so I heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, a lot of interesting transfers to talk about when we talk about the EPL. But I think it would be remiss for us to not, at least in passing, discuss the biggest news that's come out of English football in the past few days, lah, which is the allegations made against Mason Greenwood. It's been tough as to read and to see all these horrible images and all these kind of things. um and at the same time it's been tough for me to see some of the reaction because you've got people, I mean, on social media lah, nowadays on social you can say anything and hide it, but people saying that, oh, okay, wait for all the facts to come out, which is fair, which is true. You can say that, we should get all the facts. You are of course correct in saying innocent till proven guilty, but in the same sentence, when you say, oh, maybe this lady made it up, or maybe there's a twist in this, I mean, we don't know that. There's absolutely, if you're going to say that we have to stick to the facts, then we have to stick to the facts. And at the same time, the immediate reaction is you think about, oh, the team. But the thing is, the second reaction you have to have, I feel, is that forget the team, forget his talent, forget his potential. All that needs to go out the window, because there is a victim here. And the lesson that we all have to learn from it, although this is something that's happening, thousands of miles away, is that certain things have to come into our society. No means no. You know,
Yeah,
very, very clear stuff. No matter what happened, if the allegations are true, there is no circumstance that makes this okay lah. So I mean, I sorry lah, I went on a bit of a rant there, but I mean,
No,
you
it's
you
not
guys
a
have
rant.
any
It's a
thoughts
message
about?
that needs to be out there, G.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel it is just very sad lah, to see all this going on. I'm hoping that the investigation is fair, is thorough, it's quick. I mean, already you can see the impact, because I think his merchandise has disappeared from the United website. I think United have suspended him, rightly so. Nike have suspended their deals with him. Southgate never really was interested in playing him for England for a while. So I mean, we'll have to see how it goes, lah. Because I was reading up about this story, and it's interesting because there are quite a few players who are in similar situations. There's of course one in City. There's also one in Brighton who, is subject of transfer speculation still as we go. Still, I think he's still playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bissouma is.
Mm-hmm.
There were reports of Bissouma being suspicious. I mean, suspected or something.
Suspected.
So I think at least United did the right thing lah by not playing him. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Azri's got it right. I think FIFA 22 is pulling his name from the game. The general reaction has been, I think, very good, but you're always gonna have idiots on social media saying things lah. I feel, just to get clout. Anyways, enough about that. So it was supposed to be a passing statement. I taken it like 10 minutes. Okay. Let's go through our winners and losers of the English/European transfer window so far. Avi, can I start with you, just so I can drink some water? Sorry, thirsty.
Okay, I think the winner, I would say, is either Donny van der Beek or Wout Weghorst, the two Dutch players. One, because Van der Beek did not get his opportunity in United, so now he's going to Everton, and I hope that he gets playing time and show that he is a quality box to box midfielder. Weghorst, I was shocked. I thought he would stay in Wolfsburg, but he moved to Burnley. So Burnley got a better player than Chris Wood. Weghorst may look tall, may look slow, but that bugger can score. Benny and I played, used Weghorst for FIFA 2020, and he was good until you guys bought Ronaldo.
Ha, Siu.
So I think it's these two
It was
players.
actually okay, okay. I don't
He's no Ronaldo lah. That's all we are saying lah.
Gee, he did acrobatic goals all. Gee, how can you forget what Weghorst did?
Okay lah. All we are saying is he's not Ronaldo, right? I mean, if we
yeah.
had the chance to
Yeah,
sign
it's not
Ronaldo, we sign
Ronaldo
him.
lah, but Weghorst is Weghorst lah.
All right.
So I have a soft spot for him. So him moving to Burnley and that introduction video was amazing.
Oh yes.
The best, amazing.
If anyone has not seen it, just head to Burnley's Twitter. I
Yeah.
mean, fantastic lah. I won't
Amazing.
spoil it, but yeah,
The creativity. I mean, the editing was biasa, but the idea behind it was super.
superb.
Yeah,
Yes.
super. And then losers. I hate to say this, Arsenal. Arsenal and Edu Gaspar. Simple. They were linked to so many players. Why can't they sign them? One of them was Bruno Guimaraes, who went to Newcastle. Edu, who has connections in Brazil, the one player that he needed to get to improve the midfield. Why he couldn't work his connections? Is he looking for another Willian or David Luiz? Sorry to say,
Yeah.
I have to question Edu. Arteta is the one giving out the name, so the sporting director has to work on something. Like Vlahovic, you knew that fella is going to stay in Italy. Why still push for him? Go for other strikers, lah. I pity Arsenal fans,
Yeah,
Literally,
one of
we
them is
bent a club.
complaining. Yeah, exactly. See, Subhash
We
is saying.
literally bent a club now. Subhash. See,
Yeah.
so
These are
but-
scary stats, because
yeah, imagine fans are literally stalking Alexander Isak's car in London, lah. This and that. It shows how desperate they are. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I was hoping that they would make one or two signings because in December they were doing so well. January they only scored one goal, so they needed to improve the team, but they didn't do it. So you wonder why. So if you ask me, I have only one lah, Arsenal and Edu. That's it.
well, that's two lah, but all right.
Together.
together.
Because
Okay, all right,
it's
all
part
right.
of Arsenal.
Sorry.
Mm.
Just wanted to be an ass. Okay. Okay, Benny, can I go to you next? Because I have a feeling this will come into the next comment also. To relate to the next comment. Oh, yeah,
See,
winners and
Mr.
losers.
Azri had to mention that also. That's how desperate we are.
Right.
Yo.
Okay. For me, the winners would be Newcastle, though, because they have signed a good players in every position, every crucial position, like in defense, in midfield. They signed Bruno Guimaraes, as Avi said. So I think they are the winners. And then
The
they
poor
also-
man's Bruno Fernandes. That's no, I'm kidding.
And then they also got Dan Burn, right, from Brinton.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think they are rebuilding their team. I think they will survive the relegation with this. So for me, it's they are the winners, lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
the
for-
losers.
I'm sorry to say it's Sevilla because they signed Marshall.
Come on, lah.
Hey, Ronaldo said he could be doing well, Benny. Why are you saying that?
Oh, probably, yeah. Like all the flops that went out from MU, they will success. And they will do well.
Hey, wait. So you deem Martial a flop?
Yeah,
So you're
I
not
mean,
going
it's
to.
very flop.
What about the first few years of his tenure in United?
I think it was just lucky, bro. I'm sorry.
This is why we got Benny lah.
No, but he has been terrible since last season. I mean, I believe every United fan will agree on this.
No, because when it was announced, a lot of them were saying, "Oh, good luck. We welcome you back. Maybe once you've got a bit of confidence and all this kind of thing."
Okay, lah. I hope he will get his confidence back, lah.
Actually, Azri has got a good question on Raf Ragnik. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just. It's not easy to do this and talk at the same. Give me 1 minute.
No, I just mentioned it. Take your
No, I
time.
mean, no, you're right. I mean, Benny, it's a good point. We didn't sign anyone new. So, do you think they're going to use more young players?
To be honest, I don't know, bro, because we keep on using the same players in the midfield. So I'm sorry, Miss Azri. I mean, we've been playing with Fred, economy, and Ati. So I don't think so. Young players will be coming in more, lah. Except for Ilanga, right? One we
Anthony
recently,
Langa.
yeah,
Right.
Sweden, da.
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a teaser, not a teaser, like a spoiler kind of thing. But guess what? My loser was, of
Hmm.
course, the team on my jersey, lah. You know what Subhash said? You can mirror the same thing for United. Mr. Azri, I think if the board had any sense, they should be doing the same thing. But I mean, when you look at the United fan TV, like Mark Goldbridge and all the things they are saying is that Ralph Rangnick wants certain players. He wants certain players to go. I think Lingard was one of them, and the
yeah.
board is just overruling. These guys are a bunch of bankers, bunch of corporate morons. And I don't really understand how they feel that they have any say over someone like Ralph Rangnick. So again, we let go a lot of deadwood lah. Maybe deadwood is a strong term to use, but I mean, when you talk about Van der Beek, what we were doing to him was basically a hostage situation. So
To the extent that some of you are to call you in, huh?
yeah. I mean, there's something in the Geneva Convention that I'm sure they have broken lah. By keeping this poor man. I saw something. I saw a tweet that said, he got the number 30 on his jersey because that's the amount of minutes he played at United.
Oh
Played,
my God, really?
yeah. So I mean, what they've let him go. Thank God. Let him try and play. Same thing with what do you call? I mean, Lingard should have gone. Phil Jones was supposed to go to Bordeaux. I think that collapsed. So I mean, and no one coming in lah. That hole in the midfield has been there for. I mean, God lah. I mean, since what I would argue Keane's time. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Roy Keane fanboy lah. But when we got Hargreaves, he was injured. Oh, sorry, Azri. Yeah, so Jones opted to stay. I mean, good for him lah. I would rather play Phil Jones in the midfield right now because at one point he was
Yeah.
playing CDM.
I agree, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything would be better than our current midfield.
yeah.
I think they're a huge loser, not only in the transfer window but many other aspects. And for me, the winner, right, was Christian Eriksen lah. I know it's a bit of a emotional kind of choice, but I think most of us saw the video of him collapsing live. Some of us who chose to watch the Denmark game at that point, that was a group match, right, against Finland.
Against
Yeah, so not much is going on, and then that happened, and you're like, my God, will this guy survive? Will he, will he have a decent life after this? And the fact that he's playing the very next, it's not the next season lah, but is it the next season? It's how many transfer windows is now? It's
I think
January.
it's January. I mean, he missed the first transfer window, then he
Sure.
joined January. So six,
Yeah.
7 months.
6-7 months, right? And he's playing for Brentford. I mean, that's fantastic. Fantastic to see him back. I think he is the first player. I'm going to have to read this out. To play in the Premier League with an implantable cardioverter defibrillator. Right. Okay. Thank you, Abhi. I'm just going to say ICD from now on. Lah. Okay. So, no, he's the first player to do that in the Premier League, which is fantastic. Lah. I mean, to see him back. And also, I think Aston Villa have been very, very smart in what they've done. Coutinho, Digne, I'm forgetting one. I think they were linked with someone else, but I've forgotten the other. I mean, solid business all around. Lah. What you can see is, maybe the managerial pool, where Lampard comes in, immediately people want to join. You got Gerrard there, immediately people want to join. And they play good football. So, I mean, as Mr. Azri, to your comment, they better have a fantastic summer window. You're right, because we may not make top 6, if things go badly. Yeah. And then all the heat will come on Ralph again, and we're back to square one. So there you go. Avi, I want to just bring up this one point. There's a trend of players looking to wind down their
Mm,
contracts, right?
mm.
I mean, Mbappe, the big news was that he's apparent, according to the German media, he's going to Madrid. So why do you think this is happening? Is it just player power?
Player power, absolutely.
Hmm.
Another good example is Aubameyang.
Ah,
He flew to. Sorry, I have to use that example. He flew to Spain to sign a deal, and he eventually got what he wanted. Arsenal letting go for free, but we
right.
saved a lot of money, lah. Exactly. Callum Chambers went to Villa. That also, I was so upset when Chambers left because at the moment we're so threadbare. I
Hmm.
don't know how many games Arsenal going to postpone by saying we don't have enough players. Sorry, just a rant, lah. But
No,
yeah, play.
no, I think
Sorry,
Arsenal.
sorry.
Yeah, wait, sorry, Avi, but I don't. I think Arsenal would be fine because they don't have other tournament to focus on, right? Only EPL at the moment.
Okay, this is
Look
a
at how
burn.
he's
This is a
this
burn.
is
I come on, lah.
this is how he
I
G
mean,
NG YG.
I'm sorry, Avi.
Okay, sorry, but yeah, player power is getting stronger now. Players don't want to be embroiled with the transfer fee and so on. So that is why they prefer to wind down their contract and then join on a free because they don't have the pressure of playing. I mean, if a club signs you, for example, Neymar was signed for 220. I mean, 222 million euros, if I'm not mistaken. Pressure was immediately there. People expect you to score goals every game, but he was not able to do so. And then people question his lifestyle. So I think players don't want to go through that kind of scrutiny. So that's why Mbappe decided to, do such a move. Those are my thoughts, lah. That's what I believe in. But player power is getting very, very strong now, which is a good thing. But
Right,
at the same time, clubs would be questioning it also, how are we going to earn money out of players? So those are the kind of questions that we think a lot of club owners want to look at. Maybe
hmm,
that's why they wanted the Super League, because they're not able to get this kind of money.
right,
So
right.
yeah, things are changing. I mean, modern football, you go through phases, lah.
Hmm, hmm. That's true. So, okay, we're coming very close to the hour mark. So, I think just before we end our very first show, again, thank you so much for joining. Whoever is still with us, thank you so much. But we want to end with like a. This will be one of our what do you call routine segments, lah. If we make it that far, um, every show we want to end with the top five. Now, when we bring in our guests, we will ask our guests to contribute as well to this top five, lah. So all the top fives will be based on a piece of news or some little tidbit that has happened in the football world. For this show, the first one, we read the FIFA president's quote lah. Okay, something very ridiculous about having the World Cup. I think more often relating it to people losing their lives when they cross the Mediterranean. Like, come on, like what is this moron talking about? Okay, so but on that note, we wanted to talk about our top five worst, silliest, dumbest sports, whatever you want to call it, lah. And I thought I would get my first one out of the way. I'll have to read this because it's a very long and a very confusing quote. Okay, give me some time. As flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for our sport, for their sport. Okay. Soon the science will not only be able to slow down the aging of the cells, soon the science will be able to fix the cells to the state, and so we will become eternal. Okay. Not done, not done. Only accidents, crimes, wars will still kill us, but unfortunately, crimes, wars will multiply. I love football. Thank you.
Nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense, and that is the
That's
beauty
Cantona.
of King Eric Cantona. I mean, just the what on earth was this man talking about, lah? But that is Eric Cantona. That's why we love him, lah. So that's my first one. Avi, you have one?
So this is Theo Walcott when he played for Arsenal, lah. So the interviewer asked him one question about his form. So this is what he said, lah. Sorry, as may sound somber, but that's how bad the quote is, lah. I've been consistent in patches this season. Full stop.
No, but the thing is, with Walcott, it's true, right? So I mean,
Yeah, exactly. When the contract expiry is nearing, that's when you'll see him perform. After that, up and down, up and down. But he was an exciting player, lah. No doubt about
in patches, he was
it.
exciting
In patches,
in patches,
exactly.
right? Okay. So Benny, next, your one.
Okay, for me, it's on Bonucci, on Ronaldo. So basically, he said that Ronaldo left on August 28th, and it certainly would have been better if he had gone earlier so we could prepare. Unfortunately, we paid a price for that. It does create a shock to the system, and we lost points in the opening games. I mean, I don't know what is this guy talking about. You cannot blame someone who already left the team for your poor performance. So basically, it's just finding a scapegoat. Lah.
No, no, but okay. So his point is that maybe they didn't expect Ronaldo to go, so that's why they missed him so much. No,
No, no, bro.
I
I mean, based on what I can understand from his statement, they are basically saying that they are depend on one person to carry the team. Football doesn't work that way, bro. It's never a one man show. I mean, so I don't know what he's talking about on Ronaldo here. So I don't
as
think so. Yeah.
as an England fan, I would agree with you. Bonucci is just a horrible human being. Okay, so so all
Hey,
right.
when you watch games, you mentioned that he was good looking. He's got really nice,
No,
hair
no,
and
he's
so
he's
on.
a
What are you changing your
good
thoughts now?
he's a good looking player until he started that it's coming to Rome. It's and then he had the temerity to score
Who
against.
started that?
Okay, okay. You since you want to start this, right? Okay, the it's coming home thing is sarcastic. Most of the, I mean, English fans know that it's never going to come home, so it's like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, lah. I mean, that's how it started, right? So
Yeah.
it's not supposed
Trying
to
to
be
suit your heart, huh?
something like that, lah. I mean, holding on to this fury for a few months already. So now, unfortunately, I got a platform, so I'm going to start, lah. So
Okay, okay.
it's supposed to be sarcastic because we know that it's not coming home, so we just say it to as a joke, lah. Of course, he buys into the joke, whether he understands it. That's fantastic, but you don't need to keep rubbing it in, and you don't need to score against us, lah. All right. First of all, Luke Shaw scored. He should have been the defender to win us the trophy, but there you go, lah. All right. Okay, so Avi, you have another one.
Another short quote
Hmm.
from this coach in the past, Ray Hudson, during the days of Pele and Franz Beckenbauer when they played in the US. So this was his quote, lah. Huh? So the reporter asked him some questions. So this is his reply. I've got nothing to say. Any questions?
I love that, lah. I tell you, we need to see that at more press conferences.
Imagine if this was said during our press conferences, Benny were to hear that,
I think he's trying to throw the camera at him or something. Oh my
I don't know.
god.
I think Watson is on weak, lah, but I don't know.
Okay, so my one I cheated a bit, lah, because I
Hmm.
feel that you can't just take one quote from this guy. You have to take a few. So the first, I'm going to read out all three, lah. You can't play 4-4-2 all the time. Okay? With two players who don't do anything. Remember, two players who don't do anything. You're basically playing 8 against 11 all the time.
Do we have to guess the name?
Okay, yeah, a good
Uh-huh.
challenge. Yeah, all right, all right. I mean, guys, in the comments, if you're still watching, guess who I'm talking about. All right, so that's first quote. Second quote: when they don't score, they hardly ever win. All right. Okay. Okay. The third one, the best one for me. What a shot! That's totally unstoppable. But the keeper's got to do a bit better for me.
I'll let Benny answer.
Benny.
Any of the viewers to answer it.
Bro, I have no idea who this idiot is. Sorry.
Okay. I'll follow Avi's thing. He's a foreign legend. His first name is Michael, and I don't know how tall he is, but he's not
He
very
won
tall.
Ballon d'Or as well.
There you go, lah. All right. So, any idea? It's one of the only people I remember besides Paul Ince who have played for Liverpool and United.
See,
In
not
recent
Michael
history.
from Bigler, huh?
Sorry, what?
Oh, it's
Not
over.
Michael from Bigler. Yes, he got the answer.
The legend called Michael Owen, lah. All right, okay. So on that terrible note, I think it's time to end our first episode. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. This is our first show. There's going to be mistakes. We hope like maybe you guys can give us feedback, and we're going to have more guests. It's not going to be just the three of us talking over and over again. In the next few shows, we are going to have a player on. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes well. We are hopefully going to be talking about grassroots football a lot more. So yeah, stay tuned lah. Okay. Azri has already found out who is KL's new strikers lah. That's fantastic.
Keep it to yourself, bro.
There you go. So yeah, once again, I just plead with everyone, follow us on socials, and yeah, we will see you very, very soon. Thanks a lot.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't
Yes,
forget.
please. Yes, our shows are going to be on there and also on Twitter lah. All right. Okay. Once again, thank you so much. Happy Chinese New Year. Happy holidays. Drive safe. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.